attention for more than 5 years after kidnapping him. On the case of Finland, what has Simon Ekpa done apart from fighting for self-determination of his own people? Go and check all his message. It's all about self-determination. But you cannot just fold hand and be fighting for self-determination and why somebody comes to kill you and you don't defend yourself. The message of Simon Ekpa is anchored on self-determination. The foundation of every single process he went through is anchored on self-determination. While he was preaching the gospel, awakening the world, he was at the same time telling his people to protect themselves, defend themselves. Because we have been pushed to the wall, we were also at the same time pushing back. Not in retaliation, but in self-defense. That is what we have been doing. Biafrans are not violent people. We have never, ever, we can't even pretend to be violent because we love life. Biafrans love life. We know what life is all about. We are not violent people. But our enemies are taking the advantage of Biafrans not being violent, and they come after us at every single little opportunity they have. They unleash mayhem on us. And they want us to fold our hands until you begin to estimate and make a record of a genocide. You want the genocide to complete fully before you will now react. We will not wait for that moment. Biafrans, we will not wait for extermination before they react. That is why we are doing what we are doing today. That is why we will continue to do what we are doing until we are free. Criminalizing self-determination will not make us stop because international law made it clear that it is not a privilege. It is a fundamental human right. For every people, every nation to have the sacred right to decide its fate, to govern itself, and to live free of oppression. It is not a privilege. But the same people that put this law in place, they are watching the intimidation. They are watching the attack against Biafra. More especially the incarceration of the leaders of self-determination group. Incarcerated in countries where they claim to be upholding human rights. Norway is there holding Joe Ayoba, a man that is fighting for the security of his people, trying to save the life of his people. Norway is telling him. Mazi Simon Ekpa in Finland, a man who is standing in gap to bring to the light what the Nigerian government are hiding, including the war they are fighting against the Biafran people. Exposing all the evil and atrocities against his own people that are very, very open, that Amnesty International even has the information, yet nothing has been done. Surprisingly, recently, United States of America also arrested a human rights activist, Ambazonia activist, was arrested in the United States. Tell me, where does your hope lie? Where does our hope lie? Those of us who are seeking for freedom, who are looking for a society, a sane society where we can exist like human beings, where we can take a decision. What is our fate? When all the people who are supposed to uphold the right of the people are the ones abusing the right of the people and taking it away from them. Where lies your fate? For over 5 decades, the people of Biafra have endured unimaginable suffering, massacre, genocide, forced assimilation, and systemic marginalization for over 5 decades. This has been the situation of the Biafran people. Nobody is paying attention. Nobody cares. The whole world is silent, as if nothing happens. Injustice against Biafrans does not amount to injustice. Human rights abuse of the Biafrans does not amount to human rights abuse. Nobody cares. Are we going to stop talking? We will continue to shout it, say about it, speak about it, because I still believe there are men of conscience on this planet Earth. That is the essence of coming online every day to speak. You never can tell who will come across our video. That is why it is important you share it and let it go viral. In 21st century, we still believe there are men of conscience who will not stand by or sit by and watch what is going on to go on. I'm saying for over 5 decades, the Biafran people have endured unimaginable suffering, namely massacre, genocide, forced assimilation, and systemic marginalization. The suffering in Biafra land, even as we speak, is unimaginable. It is not hidden. It is in the open. Yet, nobody is saying it happen. Every government of the world have their embassies on the ground in Nigeria, and they have first-hand information of everything I'm saying here. They have the first-hand information. But instead, they chose to align themselves with where their interest is protected, which I understand that's how the world operates. Based on their interest, they close their eyes to humanity and they focus on interest. The massacre of Biafran people is still ongoing, even as you are watching me speak. In Okigwe, as we speak, in Okigwe, innocent bloods are flowing on the ground every day in the hand of Nigerian government. The terrorist military they sent to Biafra land. First of all, they started with a campaign and lies, propaganda against the Liberation Army of Biafra. They started with that campaign to win the heart of the people against their own people that are fighting for their freedom. They pushed that campaign, begin to tell people how evil the Liberation Army are, how criminal-minded they are. Try to paint them in the same way they painted the Igbos evil, the same way they painted every Igbo evil. They narrowed it down to Biafra agitators. They narrowed it down to Biafran army. Go to Okigwe as we speak. Blood is flowing everywhere. Innocent people. We have seen some of the videos. I wish we can play some of the videos here. You see how the innocent citizens are being massacred in Okigwe. There was a 2 men that were zoomed with their bike. Just driving their bike. They were caught with their bike. And what did they do? They shot them. And who are those going to this operation? These are forces recruited by the enemies of Biafra. There are Hausas in them. There are Fulanis in them. Asare the Kobo boys. Enemies of Biafra. Arch enemies of them. More especially the Igbo Biafrans. They are arch enemies. Sponsored by the federal government of Nigeria. Security outfit, different kinds of security. Everybody now owns a security. Every Janjaweed owns a security outfit. Every supporter of Nigerian government have his or her own security outfit. Innocent blood are flowing in Biafra land. Our sister came and gave an information and said that second Biafran civil war is going on and the world is silent. And we will say it is a joke. The second Biafran civil war is ongoing. Our sister, who is on the ground, went made investigation and she came out and cried out that second Biafran civil war is going on. The same way it happened in 1967. In 1967, while war was going on in Biafra land, in Lagos State, people were enjoying in Lagos. People were enjoying in the north. They were going. People in the north, in Lagos, didn't even know that something was happening. The same thing is happening today. But the difference today is that we are in the media and we are shouting, but nobody seems to pay attention. Today, it is about interest. The battle in Africa today is about interest. Who gets what? Who controls where? That is why nobody is paying attention to the cry of the Biafran people, no matter how much we speak. But I still believe we will not stop talking because there are men of conscience out there. There are still people that have humanity in them. I strongly believe there are still people that have humanity in them. The massacre, the unimaginable massacre of Biafran people will not continue forever. The genocide that is going on, even that started all the way since 1945, still ongoing, become more pronounced during the Civil War. It's still ongoing as we speak. But nobody pays attention. Nobody cares. Even the ones they have seen, the ones they have verified, yet they pretend it's not happening. Nobody wants to take any action. Forced assimilation. They are forcing us to be part of the Zoological Republic forcefully, using some of us that are Biafran. That is why they drag someone like P2B. P2B ranting from one place to the other, trying to war Biafrans into Nigeria, trying to use P2B to use us to confirm their idiotic and devilish one Nigeria. Forceful assimilation. Through their political means, they give some group of people money and they begin to spread around that money. And they will tell you, go and buy your people. Look at Ohanes Ndibo. Ohanes Ndibo, the socio-cultural group that is supposed to be defending the cause of the Igbo people. The worst socio-cultural group in the world. The worst I have ever seen. The worst I have ever seen. These are people who claim to be defending it, but they will never, ever, ever defend the cause of Igbos. They have never. These are the bunch of clowns. We saw a video, audio that leaked, that they were planning. Audio leaked during the time of the one that called himself Iwanyang. The one that died, they called Iwanyang. During his time, an audio leak, they were planning to go to the caliphate and beg the caliphate to forgive the Igbos. About what? They were planning to go and beg the caliphate to forgive who? What crime have we committed? What have we done wrong? What? What for Christ's sake have we done? Even before this time, before the Civil War, a British man asked Ahmadu Bello, why are you so obsessed about the Igbos? This is a British man, somebody who is not even a Biafra, was asking, why are you so obsessed about these people? What have they done to you? What? But you see people who are supposed to be representing and defending themselves, they gather themselves, they say they want to go and apologize to the North. They want to go and apologize to the North. That was supposed to be led by Iwanyang before the thing leaked. And the Biafrans will raise our voice and say, that will never happen. We never offended anybody. The so-called Biafran war, they call about the Igbo coup, the so-called Igbo coup that prompted that madness from Ohanes and Igbo. You can see people who call themselves elders. They call themselves elders. See yet they cannot be able to find the truth, source for the truth, and make the truth come out. That same Igbo coup that they held hand, that was what their base, the base they had, they said they want to go and apologize, finally came out not to be Igbo coup. Of course, for a long time, we have known it's not an Igbo coup. But who is going to fight about it? We stay online, talk about it, but nobody believes. Until one of the criminals came out and confessed that it was never an Igbo coup. But before then, the people who you are calling your representative, are already planning to go and apologize for doing nothing. This is how they sell it off. After they go to Abuja or go to Sokoto, then they will begin giving contracts. Some of them will be placed on salaries. And now when you talk about freedom, they tell you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you didn't see the Civil War. You didn't see the Civil War. You don't know what you're talking about. They use them to force us into Nigeria. Forceful assimilation continue to happen. Systemic marginalization, that one is the order of the day. The system, even to these idiots who are holding us down in the so-called one Nigeria, they are also being marginalized. They are also being held captive. They are also not being allowed to attend to the height they want to attend. But simply because they have decided to choose that stance of a house nigger in a place where they can be able to eat the crumb that fell from the master table. They are the one that have access to eat from the crumb that fell from the master's table. They are just okay with that. They feel that they have arrived. But the marginalization is very clear. When a child of Biafra is born from birth, from school, from his primary school days, you begin to see the marginalization. More especially when you find yourself in a state that is not your home state. From your primary school days, you begin to see the marginalization, the way you be treated, that you don't belong to Nigeria. Nigeria has criminalized the legitimate call for freedom. Finland joined Nigeria to criminalize the legitimate call for freedom. And the whole world is watching. A legitimate call for the freedom of the people who are suffering, who are being persecuted. Nigeria criminalized legitimate call for freedom. And Finland told the same line because of economic interest. Because of economic interest, they also joined them to criminalize. That is why they boldly say that Mazi Simon Ekpa is part of a terrorist organization. The only organization that Mazi Simon can belong is self-determination groups in Biafra land. Self-determination group in Biafra land. And every one of us, Biafra, we are part of self-determination group in Biafra land. The indigenous people of Biafra, every single person in the old southeastern region, the present south-south, southeast, lower Kogi, lower Benue, we are all part of it. But Finland boldly came and said that Mazi Simon belonged to a terrorist organization based on information given to them by Nigerian government. Remember, Nigeria has criminalized the legitimate call for freedom. Nigeria criminalized legitimate call for, and Finland, based on that criminalization of legitimate call for freedom, they tagged Mazi Simon Ekpa a terrorist. And they want us to keep silent. And the whole world is watching. The only government that is a terrorist government you can see in the world is Nigeria. They have been involved in different kinds of crime, including kidnapping. They have been involved in kidnapping. It didn't start yesterday. In fact, they were the ones that introduced kidnapping. The government itself introduced kidnapping in Nigeria. They started it with Umaru Diko. And even before, they have been, the issue of kidnapping has been going on. Nigeria has been kidnapping people. The government itself. We see them sponsor Boko Haram. Recently, we are seeing them holding meeting with a group of bandits, reaching to dialogue, trying to promote them, trying to put them on top. But in those who are legitimately calling for freedom, Nigeria has criminalized them. And Finland also joined Nigeria to criminalize legitimate freedom fighters. And they want us to keep silent and pretend all is well. All is not well. And we will not be silent. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I strongly believe that there are men of conscience in this world. There are still men of conscience in this world. And the time is going to come when they will no longer be silent. They will be forced to speak. That is the importance of us coming online every day. When you see a reasonable and responsible program, share it. I'm not going to go and share Shaga. When you share Saga, you share the attack against your brother. It is not going to bring anything. It's not going to change your situation. Sharing a program that is talking about your brother, your sister, how your brother is bad, how he is this and that, what he has done and what only narrating the story and the program of your brother. Saga will not help the cause of our freedom. Saga will not draw international attention. Saga is not going to change anything. You will only empower them to continue to march on you. March you until you can no longer breathe. When you see a program where our plight is projected, share it and make it go viral. It doesn't matter who is saying it. Even if you hate that person, as long as the message is meant to promote the cause of Biafra, as long as the message is meant to give Biafra voice, share it. But when the message is antagonizing a Biafran, whether you agree with that person or not, if you share it, you don't know yourself. You don't know what you're doing. If you share such program, you pay attention to that program, you are an idiot. You don't know what you're doing. You are the cause of your problem. Because what you are sharing cannot change anything. Share informations that the world, because no matter how you do it, no matter how you say, we cannot do this thing alone by ourselves. We cannot do it alone. We need to be creating this awareness, telling people our plight. It cannot be enough. You can't say it enough. You can't say it enough until we are free. There is no amount of message that is enough. Some people come and tell you, Mazi Samarako has said everything. Mazi Nanika has said everything. Let me tell you, repetition is for emphasis, and you must continue to repeat it until you get what you want. That is the only way. Do you know that up till now, there are so many people with all the messages of Mazi Nanika and Mazi Samarako? Some people today, they will still tell you, some government will remember, some strong popular men in the government, they will still tell you that they have not heard about the show Biafra. When you engage them one-on-one and tell them Biafra, they will be saying, "Hey, you mean this is happening?" There are still some people. Some are pretending not to hear because you have not officially brought it to their table. We must continue to shout because there are still men of conscience in this world. All hope is not lost. There are still men of conscience, even in that Finland. Even in Finland, there are men of conscience. In the UK, there are men of conscience. In the US, there are men of conscience. We must have to continue to shout on top of our voice until they can no longer be silent. It will get to that point. Do not get tired. But don't waste your time on issues that will not benefit you. Don't waste your time fighting yourself. Nigeria has criminalized legitimate call for freedom. That is what they have done. And Finland told the same line to join them, criminalizing their citizens, innocent citizens that have served them for so many years. All of a sudden, they wake up and say that a citizen that have served them in their country for years is a terrorist. That is part of a terrorist organization. The only organization that Mazi Samarako is part of is self-determination groups of Biafra, which every single one of us is involved in. So when Finland say that Mazi Samarako is a terrorist, every single one of us, when they see us in Finland, when the Finland government look at us, they see us as terrorists. That is what it means. If you don't know it now. You think it's about Mazi Samarako. You think that judgment is about Mazi Samarako. It is not about Mazi Samarako. It is about you. It is about me. The only organization that every single one of us belong to is IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra. Whether the organization or not, that name, as long as you are from that area, from that zone, from the old southeastern region, the present south is lower Kogi, lower Benue, as long as you're from that side, you are an IPOB member. And Finland have tagged you a terrorist. If you're not worried, you better be worried now. If you think it's about Mazi Samarako, you better begin to have a rethink. Begin to reshape that your stupid mind. Walk away from propaganda and blackmail. Walk away from saga. Walk away from attacking your brothers and your sisters and focus on things that matters. Yesterday, I saw some groups that went to the US Congress or whatever, US Congress, and they were making some speech in the US Congress. That is fine. Get yourself busy. I don't care what it is. Get yourself busy. I wish they keep themselves busy. Going to such kind of a program every day. Go. I don't care how you do it, how you want to do it. It is creating awareness. I saw some group went to Congress yesterday. And they were there making points for Biafra, making requests for Biafra, making demands for Biafra. That is what every group is supposed to be doing. I don't care who you follow, but make sure you are busy chasing that dream that every one of us is pursuing. Chase it. Start one, you know that, oh, this one is one that's going to work. Go and do it. Forget about saga. Forget attacking your brother or your sister. Get busy in that your own section and do it. Do that one you feel it's going to work. Nobody is the master of wisdom or knowledge. You don't know where it's going to come from. By the time this one do this one do that, at the end of the day, we will reach to a compromise. A time will come when we will come back on this, sit at the timetable. We bring all those forces together and we do what we have to do. But you will see some people, they will never see anything good in anything any other person does. They will never see anything, except it is them that did it. They will never see anything good in anything anybody does. Except everybody fall under their command and control. They will never see anything anybody does. Except the one. When they do it, it is right. When another person do it, it's an evil thing. They castigate it. They destroy it. They make it irrelevant. Even though they know that thing will still favor them. somehow, it will favor you. It's your own favor. Who among us want to be talking about freedom for the rest of our life? How many years do all of us have anymore? For how long will you continue to shout and shout and shout and shout? And when we go, our children will come and begin to shout again. Is that what you want? Nigerian government and Finland branding agitators as criminals, terrorists, while they criminals in power. Loot, kill, destroy. Yet, despite all attempt to silence us, the Biafran spirit has not died and will never die. Why Finland and Nigeria are busy branding agitators criminals, calling us terrorists. They allow the real criminals to be running rampage. They allow the real criminals to hold the position of power. They allow the real criminals to continue to commit murder. I saw one of the a video that was made. Somebody who is contesting for Anambra president, Anambra state governor, is owing money, owing debt. The people that is owing came to confront him in a hotel in Abuja. He refused to attend to them. He refused to listen to them even. Instead, he gave command to his police guard to dispatch the people. This is somebody aspiring to be a governor. You can imagine that idiot. There was a time I saw a video, a full-grown man stripped himself naked because of that man, because the man was owing him. Owed the man and said he would not pay, and also threatened to take the life of the man. And the man went to his house, went to his office, and stripped himself naked to tell the world what is happening. This is a man who wants to be in power, and before you know it, he will become a president. Before you know it, he'll become a governor. Somebody fighting to be the governor of Anambra State. A debtor, a criminal. Somebody who sanfons money. But even with that, he still have the confidence to come into politics. Of course, that thing is one of the qualities you need to have for become a Nigerian politician. For you to be a Nigerian politician, you must be brutal. You must have a criminal mind. You must be fraudulent. You must be a serious debtor. Those are the qualities to be a successful politician in Nigeria. That is why you see such a man contesting for governorship in Anambra State. Those are the kind of, and these are the kind of people that Nigerian government will allow to rule you. Look at their president, a drug baron, with a clear record of involvement in drug. A man who had a forged certificate. Everything about himself is forged, including his age. Nobody knows his age. But that same man rose. He rose and became the president. The same man rose to the height of a president. Today, when you see somebody, a debtor, who has been disgraced in several occasions, contesting for governor, even the people were even telling them, before he go and spend his money in governorship, he should pay them their money. He is owing people billions. Fellow businessmen, he is owing them billions. People they did business together. They tell him to give us our money before you use it for your politics. And instead of him responding or paying, he sent his security after those men. And before you know it, the next thing that will happen is execution. He begins to execute them. And if that kind of a man succeeds in becoming the governor of Anambra State, you know what to expect. You see what Soludo is doing. Soludo told you that he's going to turn Anambra State to Japan. Today, he's turning Anambra State to Japan. Anambra State today has become a killing field. Just of recent, a policeman was arrested in Anambra State, the person that is in charge of the kidnapping. Now you see why Soludo will come and tell you that the kidnappers are evils. Meanwhile, he is the one training the kidnappers. One of the top police officials in Anambra State indicted in kidnapping, providing ammunitions.